episode 72, part 2 of Kenya's premier sports video podcast, the Three Quarters Podcast. As usual, we'd like to remind you to jump onto the hashtag Road to Japan to support the Kenya Simbas as they are still looking to qualify for the Rugby World Cup in 2019 in Japan. I'm Tamima Duffield.
And I'm Ngaro Kamuya.
So there's no bad man of the week with no feature game. I'm so looking forward to next weekend though. Like, we need rugby. But yes, I love my Saturdays. Like, yeah, you know, it's good to have the change.
Are you like you wake up on Saturday and there's no rugby and you don't know what to do?
Yeah. So, yeah. But we found things to do.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, so we move on to Kenyan rugby history.
Yes.
And we're on schools. So we're looking at Nairobi School.
Yep.
Or Patch.
Yeah.
Or Prince of Wales.
Depending.
Yeah. So those guys.
Yes.
I mean, they've got a very rich sort of rugby background.
Yeah.
And they're very passionate.
Yeah.
And I mean, what them and Lanana made up Mean Machine? Like, that's where the name came from?
Yes.
Because of what? Patch Machine and Mean Maroon?
And Mean Maroon, yes.
Well, Nairobi School today.
Yeah, so Nairobi School today, it's founded in 1902 by the British settlers who made it their home when they're constructing the Uganda Railway. Then in 1925, Lord Delamere, famous Delamere, and Sir Edward Gregg, who was then the governor of Kenya. So they separated the European Nairobi School into 3 schools. There was Nairobi Primary, there was a girls' school.
Kenya High?
Yes, and Prince of Wales. So Prince of Wales, which was of course then later renamed to Nairobi School after independence. So as you've aptly put it, like, they have a very rich rugby background, and primarily because of the ties they had with Impala. I'm sure for those guys who've been watching us, when we talked about Impala, we told people about
the old Cambrians.
How Impala was formed.
Yeah.
Those old boys of Nairobi School who formed Impala. So as a result of that, they have a very rich rugby culture. The rugby team is called the Patch Machine. Very passionate and like always going to watch games. I remember this to have a tournament called Patch Atamos, the Atamos tournament. And the whole school, that was all they thought about. Rugby was all they thought about. And I think about some of the guys who are old Patch Machine players. Of course, Eddie Rombo, his former JJ Masiga. We talked about somebody who was in Lenana, who actually started out on Nairobi School, Ken Thimba, Innocent Simiyu, current Sevens coach, Nato Simiyu, and guys of my generation would be now Ken Moseti at KCB and Philip Omai of KCB, among very many other players. So as we've said, they have a tie with Impala, and that's the reason why the Nairobi School logo is very similar to the Impala logo, you know, the head of the Impala. So previously, of course, they used to leave Nairobi School and go to Impala. And that's where the rivalry carried off from Lenana School guys going to Queens. And you know. And it's funny, this past week, in my other life, I was in a meeting with someone and we were discussing, and he was like, oh, you know, are you trying to put a trace on where you know someone from? So I asked him, are you a rugby guy? And he said, yes. And he's a Lenana guy. He's a former Lenana guy. And he tells me he's an Impala supporter. So I asked him how.
Yeah. Like, how did that happen?
How did that happen?
Yeah.
And he says he never makes a comment to it. Not too many people know he's Lenana and Impala. But yes, that's our segment for today. Nairobi School, which has a very integral part when you're talking about the history of rugby in Kenya.
So we move on to the nationwide wrap-up, basically. And nationwide is our third tier.
Yes.
You know, in terms of rugby in Kenya.
Yes.
And the final was Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology.
Yes.
Playing against Kitale, and they won that game 27-6.
Yep, 27-6.
Well done to them.
Well done to most.
Yes, to put it simply.
They're the nationwide champions for the 2017-2018 season. As a result of them getting to the finals, of course, then it means Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology, RFC, and Kitale have been promoted to the KRU Championship. What we keep saying, you know, unfortunately we only focus, or everyone in Kenya focuses on the top tier rugby, but there's a hell lot of rugby. Since Kenya Cup ended and Enterprise Cup ended, Championship proceeded and ended, I think 2 weeks ago. Now nationwide has ended.
And we still have women's rugby, but they play on Sundays. So by the time they finish, we are done with the podcast.
Exactly. So congratulations to most.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we move on to Rugby Africa Gold Cup preview, basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've mentioned that our boys are up in Nanyuki training with the British Army.
Yeah.
Just on the table, we've got Namibia, then Kenya, then Uganda, then Tunisia, Zimbabwe, then Senegal. And the rumors, or rather I've heard, that we've asked for we being the Kenya Simbas, have asked for a fixture a fortnight to our first game against Morocco.
Yeah, okay. There's talks about everything, by the way, is dependent on money.
Yeah.
There's talks about the Kenya Simbas.
Just to cut you off, I heard there was an appeal to the public or whatever from the union saying, we don't have money and we need this, and so I was like, okay.
Let me tell you, that appeal would work, but not with the people who are there.
Yeah.
We don't. I can't trust them to handle the money. But anyway, that's another story. Everything is dependent on money, because the guys are looking to go down to South Africa and play a couple of games. There was talk about them going to Spain to take on Spain before the game against Morocco, just to acclimatize with the Mediterranean climate. But nothing is really solid. All we know right now, at least for the Kenya Simbas, is that they are in Nanyuki, or they're playing the camp in Nanyuki. Zim have gone down south. I think that they're camp in South Africa. Namibia have named a 44-man squad, and Chrisander Botha and Rowan Kitchoff and a host of seasoned players, by the way, have come back for the World Cup qualifiers. Their coaches actually say, the Namibian coaches actually say, they expect this to be the toughest qualifiers that they've ever dealt with. The other guys, Tunisia, I'm sure they're going to be calling back their big guns. Morocco will be calling back their big guns. Uganda, they've played some warm-up matches. So it's going to be serious. But that's from the team side. I'll also just want to mention that Victor Oduora, Godwin Karuga, and John Bosco Mwamba have been named actually to officiate the 2018 Rugby Africa Gold Cup. So that's a preview just basically of what's happening or what to expect in a month's time. Yeah.
Well done for those refs, though. Qualifying for that. I know Godwin Karuga is no spring chicken. But he is actually the top ref we have in the country, and he's still at it. So well done to him. And Victor Odor being a very young guy, I'm proud of them.
No, you have to be very impressed. When you get recognized continentally, then you have to be impressed about what the guys are doing.
And this is why anytime we have Kenya Cup games and guys are complaining about Victor, I'm like, first of all, yes, nobody is perfect, and he will have his review after the game. But for him to be recognized by people who, half the people here don't know most of all the rules. So for you to complain, but him to still get an appointment for Rugby Africa, you should start thinking, what is it that I'm not getting?
True. I agree with you. So that recognition just doesn't come from...
It doesn't.
Yeah, from whatever. So congratulations to the three of them.
So now we move on to the international rugby scene, where we had Super Rugby Match Day 14. So Waratahs versus Highlanders. So 41-12 in favor of the Waratahs, and that's a whooping. Okay, fine. Highlanders got a red card, and then they got a yellow card, which, in all honesty, if you're not disciplined, you're not disciplined. So but just looking at the stats, and I won't go into numbers. But when you got even with your 13 men, everything was. Okay, let me start again. So basically, your indiscipline costs you. Because of the fact that when you look at the stats, with the exception of attacking, everything else was pretty much balanced. So I'm like, so if you had your two extra men, think of how much of a difference it would have made.
And it was a very careless red card. I'm trying the winger, the number 11. He went up for a ball. And when he got the ball, he certainly turned into karate. He came down with a flying kick. So he got a red card. Aaron Smith was booked at some point, not booked, was sim binned at some point. And discipline did cost them. Everyone did think that the Waratahs were going to be a formidable challenge, yes. Everyone thought that Highlanders were going to be the Waratahs because of, first, the depth that they have and the enterprising rugby they've been playing. But Waratahs just put in, foot to the pedal and took the game away from them. Israel Folau having a blind over game. Bernard Foley at number 10 also had a very good game. So look, you make mistakes, you have to pay for them.
Yep.
And unfortunately for Highlanders, it was 41 points against the Tars, the Waratahs. So the other games, we had the Hurricanes beat the Reds 38-34. We had the Sunwolves beat the Stormers 26-23. We had the Blues lose to the Crusaders 24-32. We had the Sharks beat the Chiefs 28-24. We had the Lions beat the Brumbies 42-24. And we had the Jaguares wallop the Bulls 54-24.
So, just before we wrap it up, I remember reading somewhere when I was looking up the stats, and it said, when the Highlanders coach said, we hope to have a good kicking game, this is not what he meant. Bad joke, but anyway.
You guys have to watch the game to understand.
Anyway, guys, remember you can like our page on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Jimmy Duffield.
And I'm Narok Amuya.
See you in part 3.